digging into some more Arkansas barbecue, motherfucker. Let's do this shit. This is going to be the most complex barbecue restaurant review ever attempted, but I'm a goddamn hero, so strap in. We went to Burnt End, which I've heard people have mixed feelings about. Let's start with the name Burnt End, which doesn't make sense conceptually since you never have just one burnt end, either in the cooking process or what is served to the customer. I mean, imagine if it was Five Guy Burger and Fry. It's dumb. You serve burnt ends, just call the place Burnt Ends. Okay, so we go in and the staff there are incredibly friendly. In fact, I would say the service is as good as you'll find apart from a Slovakian call girl with rickets. Really can't say enough about how well organized and helpful the whole operation is. Customer service is a 10 out of 10. But we're here to eat, not to make friends. So how was that? Well, you'll notice that I opened with something bad followed by something good. Like a sneaky craftsman, I hid that in the review because everything about Burnt End follows that same pattern. For everything good, there is something that is not. I got a meat platter, as you should always do when you're at a barbecue restaurant, and got to sample the burnt ends, ribs, sausage, and turkey, along with some onion straws and fried cornbread because fuck vegetables. The turkey was good, while the jalapeno cheddar sausage was very good. The ribs, well, not so good. They were definitely smoky and had a decent texture, but were coated in a not very good barbecue sauce. I'm torn because this comes down to personal preference, but dry rub ribs are just better. I'm sorry, but they are, and it's not even close. Also, Burnt End's sauce selection is pretty cheeks. They range from sweet to really sweet, with little to no variation in flavor unless you count heat, which I don't. They don't or didn't offer anything sour like vinegar or mustard to serve as a contrast. Now let's talk about Burnt End's Burnt Ends. I've had Burnt Ends maybe a half dozen times from a half dozen places, and I've reached the following conclusion. Either I really do not like Burnt Ends, or I really haven't had them yet, because I do not see the appeal of eating tiny little burnt nuggets of char that hurt my jaw. What am I missing here? I've seen people rave about this as the best morsel in all of barbecue, but all I get are cow-flavored jawbreakers. Someone let me know in the comments what I'm missing. So we have 2 good meats and 2 not so good, but what about the sides? Well, the onion straws are actually pretty tasty and it's nice to bundle them up into other things, but the fried cornbread bites are somehow simultaneously tasty but also stale. I don't even know how you accomplish that, but there it is. And that really sums up Burnt Ends for me. For everything good, there is something bad. Everything positive is met by something negative. Perfectly balanced, the Thanos of barbecue restaurants. But the impression I get is that it's not going for some bucket list god-tier barbecue haven, so much as a spot to enjoy some drinks with friends, watch the game, and chow on some barbecue. A superior alternative to places like Buffalo Wild Wings or Chili's. And in that, I'd say they're pretty successful. If you're looking for a real deal Holyfield barbecue, it comes up a bit short, so a perfectly balanced 5 out of 10. Now, I have to express a bit of ignorance. In my mind, hibachi is when you go to a restaurant, sit down at, or walk up to a grill, and someone makes you hibachi. This could either be at a place like Tokyo Steakhouse or Benihana, where they do the whole show and shit, or at a Chinese buffet, where you just walk up and tell the guy what you want, and he doesn't have to turn an onion into a volcano or flip an egg in the air for you because he's not a goddamn trained monkey. But apparently hibachi is something people here just order like a regular menu item, so that's something new for me. We went to Kotaro Hibachi Express, ordered 2 of the chicken hibachi meals, and were then given enough food to feed a goddamn elephant. It was fucking crazy. In fact, we each had enough food for 2 full meals, so at the very least you're getting your money's worth here. And it was pretty in line with what you would get from a hibachi. Well, mostly. It had all the bells and whistles, the grilled meat, the fried rice, the yum-yum sauce, which is basically like a culinary cheat code, and also is unbelievably unhealthy if you ever look into what's in there. And it was all tasty and plentiful, but was also missing something that would have put it over the top. And it's probably the last thing you would expect, or at least what I would expect. The veggies. Now look, I ain't no hippy-dippy Beyond Burger ordering almond milk sipping soy boy Canadian. I eat meat, goddammit. But specifically when it comes to hibachi, what really sets the whole party off is the inclusion of zucchini and mushrooms. These 2 S-tier vegetables provide contrast and balance. And weirdly, this is what Kotaro decided to be stingy on. Now, while this is currently towards the top of my list for Asian spots in Conway, the stinginess on the veggies mean I can only give it a solid 6 out of 10. Look, I've been to McDonald's, you've been to McDonald's. What is there to say that hasn't already been said by legendary schizophrenic musician Wesley Willis?
Rock and roll McDonald's! Rock and roll McDonald's! Rock and roll McDonald's! Rock and roll McDonald's!
Well, this series is every restaurant in Conway, and I haven't reviewed it yet, so I got some, whatever. I chose to get breakfast because why the hell else would you go there? In fact, when I graduated high school and realized I could just go to McDonald's for breakfast whenever I wanted, that's when I realized I was an adult. Bacon or sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit is where it's at, even though the biscuits have enough salt and butter to give your heart a special hug. Hash browns are the tits, then the McMuffin. The McGriddle was always a dumb idea, and I don't know how it's been around this long. Seriously, I remember when it premiered and thought it marked the downfall of human society, and the jury is still out on that one. Want to take the worst pancakes you've ever had in your life, fill them with garbage, and pick them up to eat them? The sausage burritos are genuinely gross, and I can't review the big breakfast because no one under the age of 65 has ever ordered it, and I'm not yet living off social security checks. I'll be posting that video in the year 2045, so make sure you're subscribed. The coffee is dog shit, and I'm convinced that the orange juice contains 0% orange juice, and they just add some shredded bits of paper to mimic orange pulp. There's still a bit of charm in getting McDonald's breakfast, so 6 out of 10 before 11 a.m., a low 4 out of 10 anytime after that. The Big Mac sauce looks like vomit and tastes like it too. T.H.I.N.K Coffee is a local chain of coffee spots, and yeah, they're pretty good. The couple that founded it used to live in the Pacific Northwest, and so did I, which I know makes us complete assholes, but coffee is one of the few things they do well there, besides their failed attempts at soft communism. T.H.I.N.K is one of the few spots that reminds me of their coffee with a sort of depth and richness that's hard to describe, but it puts T.H.I.N.K coffee a notch above places like 7 Brew, but still behind Shadrack's for the crown. My only complaint, if you can call it that, is that I wish there were a place closer to downtown that served coffee like theirs, but was also doing patisserie. Conway has something like 6 or 7 donut shops and a couple bakeries, but no one doing proper patisserie. But man, if anyone does come to town and starts doing that, watch out, because that shit is fly as hell. T.H.I.N.K coffee? High 6 out of 10? That barely feels like a review, but it's coffee, so what do you want from me? Let me throw in one more. Round Mountain is basically the same, but offers more specialty coffee-adjacent beverages that are for people that aren't me, but my wife enjoys them immensely. I don't know what half this shit is, but they do have affogato, which is espresso over ice cream, and that shit is incredible. Let's just lump them in with T.H.I.N.K coffee, 6 out of 10, because that's as high as a coffee shop can reach without also producing baked goods. Let me start by telling you why Texas Roadhouse is damn near impossible to review. One time we were moving out of our old apartment. We'd been packing and hauling all day and were exhausted and just wanted something to eat before we hit the road the following day. So we got Texas Roadhouse to go, and instead of mashed potatoes, they gave us 2 giant containers of gravy and no potatoes. That's because with Texas Roadhouse, you could potentially have an experience that ranges anywhere from a 3 to a 7, depending on what they do. They're an enigma. They're Schrodinger's dinner. But I'll soldier on because my heroism knows no bounds. Let me start by telling you what I absolutely hate about Texas Roadhouse. The staff. And I don't mean the friendly teenagers and college students. I don't hate them as people, but I hate what they do, and more importantly, what Texas Roadhouse makes them do. I hate that they wear shirts that say, "I love my job," because they don't. They love getting paid, you fucking dipshits. Nobody loves bringing people refills of sweet tea and bread while Boot Scoot Boogie plays for the 6th time that shift. And the fact that you make them wear those shirts, proclaiming they love their job, is like something out of a dystopic science fiction movie. But wait, there's more, because periodically the staff all shuffle together and line dance whenever a particular song comes on. YouTube analytics say a small percentage of my viewers are from outside the US, and I hope you were paying attention to that because it's just as insane to me as it sounds to you. It happens at least once every time I go there, and it is never not the most surreal, bizarre event that not even Dante could have conceived. Oh, and if that weren't enough, they also make the employees sing happy birthday, which culminates in the entire restaurant yelling, "Yeehaw!" Which, if you're going to Texas Roadhouse for your birthday and you tell them it is, and make them do that, you are actively contributing to the dehumanization of humanity. Just keep your fucking mouth shut and let them retain their dignity, you asshole. And if you think I'm joking about that, I'm not. Here, check this out. Singing happy, happy, happy birthday to you. Grotto Pizza wishes the best for you. And may all your wishes and dreams come true. Singing happy, happy, happy birthday to you. Hey! What the fuck? Yeah, I worked at a pizza place in my 20s, and that song is burned into my subconscious. It will not leave until my body returns to dust. So just leave those kids alone for for fuck's sake. Anyway, employees aside, Texas Roadhouse is okay, I guess. They're in that mid-tier of chain restaurants that I call the bread tier, where they have some kind of signature bread that makes you remember them. You've got Olive Garden breadsticks, Red Lobster cheddar biscuits, Texas Roadhouse rolls with cinnamon butter, and Outback Steakhouse is bringing up the rear with their weird pumpernickel loaves. Strangely, Texas Roadhouse's rolls and cinnamon butter is probably the best one, but it manages to fly under everyone's radar until you go there and, yeah. Even though I've been to Texas Roadhouse about 100 times, like I said, the actual experience ranges wildly between a 3 and a 7, but the good has outweighed the bad enough that I'm landing on a 6. When we lay our heads down at night to sleep, we dream incessantly. Yet in waking, we only train fragments of those dreams. Our subconscious imagining slipping through the grasp of our waking minds. Some have theorized that, when awake, our brains only retained that which our minds were capable of comprehending, and that dreaming is a process of conjuring the incomprehensible horrors of the world. This is perhaps a glimpse into such horrors. Man seeks shelter in what is familiar to him, hiding from the terrors which are beyond what his simple mind can comprehend. But if you consider yourself amongst the faintest of hearts, this is your chance to turn back and spare yourself from what I'm about to tell you. Fabys Restaurant number 2. A restaurant that, at some point, had 2 locations, but for some reason, not only named their second location number 2, they kept it when the first one closed. So, like a son avenging his deceased father, it soldiers on to satisfy the cravings of his dad's killer. But revenge can conjure strange demons, no stranger than Fabys Restaurant number 2. Because Fabys Restaurant number 2 is a Mexican-Italian restaurant. What the fuck? Are they a fusion restaurant, taking elements from 2 vastly different cultures and melding them to create something new? No, because when I say that Fabys Restaurant number 2 is a Mexican-Italian restaurant, what I mean is that it is a place where you can get a chimichanga or a chicken Alfredo, a burrito or a burrata. Actually, they don't have burrata. That was just a clever wordplay involving Mexican and Italian foods. Why Mexican and Italian on the same menu? I don't know. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not offended by it. In fact, if you step into the kitchens of just about any truly authentic Italian restaurant, there's a good chance at least half the staff is going to be Latin Americans. It's just that, well, there are Mexican restaurants and there are Italian restaurants. So seeing them on one menu is just bizarre. Like finding out your sweet old family doctor has an OnlyFans. But how's the food? I can hear you asking while you make sure that you're subscribed to this train wreck of a channel. Well, my game plan was to get something Mexican and something Italian. But that plan was ruined when I saw they had a house special that appeared to be a hybrid of the 2. So I got the Fabys Special, which was basically a chicken Alfredo with peppers and onions. And it was about as middle of the road as you could imagine. Now listen, am I expecting top tier Italian food from this fever dream of a restaurant? No. But if you're going to charge me $18 for pasta and finish it with Parmesan, can it at least not be this Parmesan? I'm not expecting 60-month aged Parmesan Reggiano, but can it at least not be the cheese that's kept at room temperature and is mostly potassium soy bait, flavoring agents, and wood pulp? We also got an order of steak nachos and mostly picked out the steak because they were unpleasant to eat, and I swear to God, Steakums would have been better. Now at this point I feel bad, so let me say something nice. The service there is great. The people there are very friendly, and there were even a good amount of locals who seem to like this place a lot. I don't have anything against the proprietors or staff, it's just that the food they're serving is straight booty cheeks. Mexican and Italian food are vastly different, and now that I've seen them side by side, I can think of an infinite number of ways you could push them together to create something unique and delicious, and I'm not even a chef. You could do strombolis filled with fajita mixes. You could do Mexican-inspired Italian dishes that actually incorporate Mexican spices and have heat. You could do oxtail pappardelle with a mole sauce. But throwing dishes from these 2 cuisines that you happen to know how to do mediocre versions of on a single menu is a recipe for a restaurant that doesn't excel at much of anything. A wasted opportunity and a 4 out of 10. That's it for this go around. Catch you in the next one, and I'll see you when I see you.